Hello, I'm Cindy Arenberg-Seltzer, President and CEO of the Children's Services Council of Broward County. Welcome to another episode of Future First, Focus on Broward's Children. Today's episode is very personal for me. It's all about getting into college. And no, not me getting into college, but as a mom of a new high school graduate who is about to be a college freshman, I can say from personal experience that the process can feel overwhelming. Between application deadlines, testing, financial aid, and the pressure to choose the right school, it's easy to feel lost. However, here's the good news. You are not alone. There are numerous resources available for both parents and students. Whether you and your child dream of a large university, a small liberal arts college, or a community college, or perhaps you have no idea. The most important thing is finding a place where they can thrive academically, socially, and emotionally, and that's going to be different for every child. Today, we have some experts who live and breathe this process every day, and they're committed to making it easier for you. Joining me today are experts who bring invaluable insight from every angle of this journey. Colleen Lockwood, Executive Director of Broward County Local College Access Network, Buffy Phillips-Lawrence, Brace Advisor at Blanche Ely High School, Donica Young, Associate Dean of Student Services at Broward College, and Famid Rokan, Financial Advisor at Broward College. So let's dive in. We're going to have families who are tuning in who have children at all stages of this process. So let's think about, for now, the high school student. And depending on where they are in that journey, what should they be thinking about to prepare? Colleen, let's start with you.
Thank you, Cindy. It's an honor to be here. I can tell you that being on this show has been on my bucket list for quite some time.
Oh,
so thank
I'm
you.
flattered. Yeah. That's wonderful.
So one of the best pieces of advice that parents have shared with us, with Bridge to Life, is create a tribe of support for your child. There are wonderful Brace advisors at each school, but how about the teachers? How about mentoring support services? How about after-school clubs? Getting involved, because it's a complicated process, and we want to make sure that students and youth are given those access to those resources across the board by having multiple members in their support network. So that's a key piece of advice that I think is critical for parents.
And you know what else I think was surprising to me? As I said, my daughter just graduated, and we're lucky she was going to a small school. And in 9th grade, they started talking to her about applying to college. And when they pulled us all together and said, let's start thinking about college, I was like, are you kidding? Like, she just got here. But planting those seeds early, creating an expectation for your child that if that is a reasonable goal, and children can choose not to go to college, but if that's something you all aspire to as a family, then planting those seeds and getting them thinking about all of those elements that I'm sure we're going to talk to that make you an attractive candidate for whatever kind of college you choose to go to. Start thinking about it early. And as you said, developing that network. As a Brace advisor, what do you tell families do you get to start working with them at the beginning?
Yes, we start as early as, actually even middle school. Sometimes we get out into the middle schools and talk with them. But mainly our focus, unfortunately, does have to be our seniors. But we start out with our freshman classes. And I have to agree with Colleen. When I speak with my freshman families, I'm always telling them, welcome to my village. Because it takes a village to get your child through. I put 2 sons through the Broward County system, and I know it was invaluable to not only have the rapport with the counseling system, but also with the teachers, and making sure that my children were involved in extracurricular activities, and starting as early as freshman year, making sure that they know what their goals are, even if they change, because a 14-year-old is not going to know what an 18-year-old wants to do. But they need to start thinking about what is their future going to look like and not wait till that last minute of their senior year.
So it's thinking about it early and starting to get that conditioning in place.
Yes.
But don't panic because it's not too late.
Yes.
And you also don't have to know, one of the things I always talk about with young people when I get the opportunity is these decisions you're making now are not forever choices. They're just to guide you on your way. But the school you choose now, you may get there and hate it, and you can change. The career path you choose now may be the career path you choose forever, but it's okay to change your mind. At Broward College, I'm sure you face a lot of that. When you're talking to the young people, what do you tell them?
Well, definitely when we're talking to parents and their children, one of the things we want to really send home is the fact that you want to know your child, their personality. College is going to be so much different. Are they a morning person? Are they an evening person? Their schedules are going to be so different. What are you going to do when this student now leaves school 12:30 in the afternoon when you were able to be in school until 4 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon? So things like that, knowing their personality and knowing what aligns with them. And like you said, definitely knowing that it's okay to not know what you're going to do or where you're going to end up. That's why we have resources. So we're going to take you from wherever you are to that next level by providing those resources for you.
And speaking of resources, one of those things that scares parents when you talk about higher education is the cost. And that's not a joke. The cost can be prohibitive, but we do have financial aid here.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
First of all, thank you for having me here. Yes, the finances are very important going to college as well. That's why we urge every student to complete their FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, because this gives us a baseline of where they're standing, because the FAFSA qualifies you for need-based scholarship. There's multiple types, like there's need-based scholarship and there's merit-based scholarship. Need-based scholarship is much easier to achieve because they see where you're at with your financial status and they award you, such as the federal Pell Grant. And as long as you have compliant credits and you're a degree-seeking student and you qualify for the federal Pell Grant, now that covers your tuition. In the situation you do choose Broward College and we're getting the Pell Grant, that's a great resource to get your associates done with us.
Nice. Now, Colleen, the local college access network, which is quite a mouthful, also known as LCAN, or in Broward County, Bridge to Life, we started that to help young people with the FAFSA, which has actually become quite a bit easier. But still, can you talk to us a little bit about the LCAN and how that helps with the FAFSA? And the Florida, there's also a Florida form.
We are so grateful for CSE for hosting the origins of the local college access network here in Broward back in 2018, I think it was. We are now one of 18 in the state of Florida. There are hundreds across the country. And the mission of a college access network is to drive transformative change through collaboration with the community, right? Everybody needs more support, but partnering with the school district, with higher ed, with employers, and with out-of-school providers, we can make a difference by co-creating, this is a mouthful, co-creating non-duplicative interventions that otherwise are not being provided or are in short supply. I want to go back to a point you made earlier about starting early. Mm-hmm. We often tell youth that they could be going to college, driving a Maserati with $100,000 in the bank. In order to be able to achieve that, we have students that have won millions in scholarships. To your point, start applying in 9th grade. Fahmid was saying at the beginning, before we started, yes, that applying for scholarships should be a full-time job. Yeah. I don't agree with that entirely, but I do think setting aside 3 to 4 hours per week, going through the massive amounts of scholarship sites that are out there is very, very beneficial. You're not going to win every scholarship, but there are so many that never get applied to. I think it's important for students to take advantage of that. One last point, 83% of seniors who complete a FAFSA will immediately enroll in college the following fall. So it's an important indicator for college readiness as well.
And I don't want, since we are in Broward County in Florida, Florida right now does still offer quite a bit of help itself. The Bright Futures, if you are a student with a good aptitude, good test-taking skills, if you have done a lot of community service and you've kept your GPA up, Bright Futures is available to you whether you go to a public or a private school in the state of Florida. You do have to apply through Florida DOE, but don't leave that out as you're scouring the world for all these great scholarships, all of which are important. But that's there for you as well. And Florida Prepaid, don't forget, parents can do that as well. Fahid, with the scholarships, I know from a little bit of experience, and maybe you can speak to this, there are some tools to help you find scholarships out there. So parents aren't just blindly, casting about. Can you speak to some of those?
So one of the websites I do recommend is fastweb.com. You can make an account as early as 8th grade, because what they can do is they cater scholarship to your situation. So when you're making the account, be as true to yourself as possible. So then they recommend scholarships that cater towards you. And they'll send out newsletters, but you have to make the effort to apply to each individually. But the thing is, some have essays, some don't have essays. So you have to be mindful of putting enough time to apply to the scholarships.
And the College Board, I'll just put in a tip for the College Board, where you have to do that's where you would sign up to do the SAT, also gives away scholarships if you take steps towards, well, all right, this is your job. I'll let you.
Yes, I was agreeing with you because a lot of kids forget the fact that once they create their College Board account, there's so many opportunities within that network to view colleges, to go on to Big Future and apply to scholarships. And they offer scholarships every month for students that actually follow through with the different activities. The more you do on Big Future, the more money you can earn. So it's a great opportunity for kids. And just playing off some of the websites that Fahid was talking about, there are so many out there for kids that it's almost impossible not to get a scholarship. The only way you don't get a scholarship is if you don't even try. If you get out there and you do your scholarships, you're going to get something. The biggest thing that one of the websites that I was talking to Colleen about earlier is Raise.me. And like I was saying to her, freshmen need to start doing that. Raise.me is one of those scholarships that gives you points towards scholarship money based on the stuff that you're already doing every single day. So you're taking an AP class, you're taking a dual enrollment class, you get points for that. If you're involved in an extracurricular activity, you get points for that. If you go on a college tour, you get points for that. All of these points add up to big scholarship money that are offered to colleges across the United States. So it's not just Florida-based, it's across the United States. Kids don't realize that there are so many entities out there just like Raise.me that can provide them with opportunities for that money because you got to pay for college somehow.
Where were you 4 years ago? That's one I didn't know about. Darn.
Still doing the
FastWeb
same
I
job.
was using, but the Raise.me, I had no idea.
Yes.
Wow.
And there's a lot of them out there. Scholarship.com, Going Merry.
Scholarship Owl. I mean, Google top scholarship sites. There are some that don't require essays and some that do, and essay writing is a whole other ballgame. But the other advice we share is look at local.
Yes.
I mean, Google Chick-fil-A, Google Target, and local companies provide scholarships very often, and they're close, which means they have a higher shot, a higher probability. And you didn't mention Zello.
I did
so
not.
I'm going to let you talk about that briefly, if that's okay.
Zello is also the platform that Broward County Schools uses for all of our students. Our students do not take advantage of it. There are so many opportunities on Zello itself, from doing the profiles to trying to figure out what colleges you're looking at, to applying to colleges. It has the links right there on Zello, requesting a transcript. But they have over 5,000 scholarships right there at your fingertips. And as you do your profiles and narrow down your focus, the scholarships that are provided to you are more focused on your area. And don't be afraid to apply to them. A lot of kids will oh, I don't want to do that essay. That's the biggest misnomer for all of these kids. It's going to take you an hour to sit down and write a 250-word essay. Say that scholarship pays you $1,000. How many of us make $1,000 an hour?
Yeah.
You know, that's the one thing that drives me nuts about the kids is they won't do the essays.
And you may be able to reuse it.
Exactly.
Yes.
One of the things that was surprising to me as well was how much easier things are. All right, I'm an old lady. So when I was applying to college, I was typing my applications, and each one had to be individually typed and mailed.
Yes.
And now the Common App, when my daughter, yes, if the college needed a separate application or needed a separate essay, you might have to write an essay or two,
supplement.
depending on the school. But other than that, depending on who you were applying to, it was as simple as the press of a button, and certain schools are free. It might be $25. What is Broward College? Do you take the Common App at Broward College?
No, we don't do the Common App at Broward College,
Okay.
but our application fee is $35.
Okay. So, all right, yours would be separate, but for
Yes.
the colleges and universities that are on Common App, it's really just press of a button.
Right.
And probably most of the questions that you're asking will be similar, so they're not making it up whole
Right.
cloth.
And one of the cool things that students can now do today too is they can use AI. So once they create that one essay, they can then use AI to then create it for all the different colleges that they have in mind. So that's like a touch of a button too.
But they have to write it first.
Yes, absolutely. They
Yes.
should write it first.
Yes.
Yes, we don't want AI applications going in, but
And one of the other websites that they also need to look at, besides the Common App, is the Black Common App as well. That is an organization that created a Common App for the historically black colleges and universities.
Nice.
A lot of my kids use that. You can apply to, it's just like the Common App. You do your application, select the different schools you want to send it to, and it goes out to them. So
Okay.
it is so important that the kids use those resources, because I know for me, I was like you, but I had to write out my stuff. I applied to every college that I wanted to, but it was all individual. These kids have it so much easier. They sit down, they do the Common App, they can apply to 20 colleges at once,
yeah.
Yeah.
and instant. And many of those schools don't have an additional essay or don't have additional supplements. It's just fill it out, send it in, be evaluated.
So, Black Common App will help you, and Broward College,
Yes.
of course. Application can be easier to apply. Lots of financial aid resources, and the FAFSA itself. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but the FAFSA itself has gotten much easier.
Yes.
That was a nightmare to do, and now, if you're willing to give them access to your Social Security or your filing, your tax
So-
filing.
The FAFSA always you had to create an FSA ID, but now the FSA ID is verified with your Social Security. It's automatically verified. The biggest change they did after 50 years, which was done last year, but now the biggest change was now they connected your IRS account with your FSA ID. This way they can pull in your tax information, and you don't have to manually plug in every single number, making sure what line 22 minus line 1A is. That makes it much more easier to apply to the FAFSA, as long as both your contributors being your parent, and the student have their accounts matched. Once you make an FSA ID, it takes 1 to 3 business days to get their accounts verified, and they can check if there's accounts SSN is matched in their settings. And then once you apply to the FAFSA, they'll ask for your approval to get information from the IRS. You give them your consent, and they'll pull in your tax information. It makes your FAFSA process much faster. Like, you can get one done within 15 minutes in many situations.
That's a big advantage.
And just offering a resource to parents and seniors out there. Can't take the FAFSA until you're a high school senior, and then you need to reapply annually for every year in college. We are hosting FAFSA events in August. This is months earlier than the general release because we've been selected as a beta tester again this year for 26-27. So the Broward Bridge to Life website, the FAFSA tab has all the details, and it's Broward Bridge, the number 2, life.com.
We will put that,
Okay. All right.
as they say, put that in the show notes, so they say. No, we will have that on the screen and, of course, available through the CSC website. As one of our great partners, we want to make sure that everybody can reach you and get attached to that. And since we have a little time, talk about the content creators that you have deployed to try and reach out there. to our student body?
We firmly believe to giving agency to the youth voice. So we have a group of interns that produce digital content across 5 platforms that we publish automatically through a platform called Loomly. And some of those content creators are also now creating content and being paid by another national college readiness platform called Appley. So we're super excited. We post about scholarships all the time, career exploration pathways, employment opportunities, how to, not be stressed out all the time. So I would encourage followers on IG, Bridge, the number 2, Life SFL. That's our handle. But the important thing, I think, is, and what we hear from the peers, the students, is peers helping peers is really important. It's not only the content that's being provided, but the voice that it is being provided with. So students are masterful at helping each other, and I think our interns are a great example of that. So they've been a very powerful resource and asset for the team.
Excellent. What are some, yeah, go ahead.
No, I want to add up to something Colleen said about resources. If you do choose to go the Broward College route, once you're admitted, you can speak to your academic advisor signing up for FAFSA workshops, which financial advisor holds throughout the week, every week. And we can give you general information of the FAFSA. And once you're interested, you can come in on any of the campus and we can help you one-on-one completing the entire FAFSA. You should never pay someone to help you fill out the FAFSA. Come on campus, we'll help you from the starting point, making your account, to getting your FAFSA completed and submitted. And
regardless of whether you're going to attend Broward College,
yeah,
too,
regardless.
which is beautiful.
Yeah, we'll help you do the FAFSA regardless. But attending the FAFSA workshop, it's necessarily like student ID, the advisor adds you to the FAFSA workshop, but to fill out the FAFSA, anybody can come to the campus and we can help you sign up.
And so you don't have to do that first to be admitted. If you want it, you're doing your admissions first, right?
Correct, or you can do it simultaneously.
Yeah,
You can do the FAFSA while you're completing your
Yeah,
application.
you can do it. Yeah.
And we do a lot of the partnering with Broward College through their Jumpstart program. We have FAFSA nights, and I have financial aid advisors come out to my school and help host the financial aid nights so families can come in, sit down, not with just me, but other financial aid advisors from different colleges and other BRACE advisors. We kind of pair up together and do FAFSA nights so that the families can feel confident about what they're inputting and understand why they have to create the FSA ID, why are they giving out their social security number, making sure that they understand it is a confidential platform. And one of the things that I wanted to go back to is you talked a little bit about the Florida financial aid application. One of the key things that we need to know is that senior year, October 1st. That is your date. Put that in your calendars, people. That is when you can start applying to the Bright Futures or the Florida application. And it's not just Bright Futures. So it's not just those scholarships that are based on your academics. The Florida application for financial assistance provides 13 different opportunities out there for a variety of things. There's the Jose Marti for our Latin American. There are the FRAG and FSAG, which are grants.
Gold Seal Cap.
Yes.
The EASE grant.
And along with the Bright Futures Florida Medallion and Florida Academic Scholars, we also have 2 fairly new programs called the CAPE Scholarship and the Florida Medallion Scholarship. And these are for those students going off into the trade schools or into technical programs. So there's so many opportunities. And the greatest thing, it's free. It takes literally 10 minutes to do. And once it's done, they will be evaluated. And it's not something where they have to write an essay to get that scholarship.
And for those students who may not have been as prepared as to be able to go to all of the trainings and the assistance, they can come to like Broward College. Like they can wake up today and just come to Broward College today, and we will get them started with the FAFSA application. When they come to orientation, if they still did not do it, if they decided at the nth hour that I want to go to college, while they're there in orientation, once again, we will go over the FSA ID because they can still do that financial aid. There are things they can do payment plans so that if they didn't do the financial aid in time, they can use that payment plan and then be refunded at the end of the day. So for those individuals that may not have been as prepared, and followed all the things that their great BRACE advisors were preparing them to do, they still can go ahead and apply for things like financial aid and other scholarships.
Yep.
That's great. You have one final thought?
I just want to say I appreciate parents tackling this very challenging soup of college readiness components. It's complicated. One of the other programs that we offer for primarily 11th and 12th graders is parents and their child can sign up for a one-on-one advising appointment and address all things in the college and career readiness space. There's nothing like a session to review with the likes of Buffy, but we are doing that virtually across the county. So encourage folks, we can share that information later as well. Another valuable resource. But yeah, I mean, parents, schedule time with your child's brace advisor. Check in with your higher ed institution to talk about financial aid and the need there. Certainly look into the Bridge to Life program and follow CSC everywhere.
And one of the things I didn't hear anyone discuss is Pledge to Success, which is an amazing scholarship for students who, first time in college students who are coming to Broward College. If the parents make less than $100,000 a year household income, they can get their tuition fully paid for the whole time that they're at Broward College, whether they're pursuing an Associates of Arts, an Associates of Science, or an Associates of Applied Science. And so that's also an amazing scholarship that students don't often tap into a lot.
Buffy, you have 30 seconds.
What I would say is just make sure that you take advantage of everything that is out there at your fingertips. We have so many great local community scholarships, the Broward Education Foundation Scholarship, the George Snow Foundation Scholarship, and then talk with your brace advisors. We know what local scholarships are available. We have at Blanche Ely, we have so many alumni scholarship and trying to get the kids to apply. It's just trying to get those kids to actually sit down and do it. And please, parents, make your kids do this.
Okay, now I have one tip for you children. Okay, everyone is going to ask you, what do you want to study? What do you want to do? And my daughter looked like a deer in the headlights. I said, sweetheart, just make something up. Whatever it is, no one's going to come back and check with you later. So whatever your passion is now, if you want to study biology, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a pharmacist, if you want to be a dog catcher, whatever it is that you want to be, come up with some answers so you don't look scared every time someone asks you the question. And don't worry about them. They're not going to check back with you later. Thank you to my great panel. They were great. Colleen, Buffy, Donica, and Famid for sharing your insights and helping us unpack everything families need to know about college readiness. I've been your host, Cindy Arenberg Seltzer. For this or any other episode of Future First, Focus on Broward's Children, go to our website, cscbroward.org, where you can access our YouTube channel, follow us on social media, and remember to join us next time on Future First, Focus on Broward's Children.
Don't forget about being a kid. Don't forget about paying it forward. Don't forget about love and purpose. Service is the mission, baby. Listen with love, listen with love, listen with love. Talk to your kids, ask them what's up. And listen up with love. Listen with love, listen with love, listen with love. Kick it with your kids, remember you were one, and listen up with love.